So, Universal made something epic, but can they also make magic? Plus, this week's hot takes from Josh and I. Let's bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
Woo! Podcast dance party. So
Love it.
strange.
Love it.
I love it. That's my jam. That's how I roll. I can't get that out of my head. I go to bed doing the bring back the magic dance. And I don't know what that dance is. But
It's a jam.
it's great. Some people get them Jimmy legs in bed. I just get bring back the magic in my ears. That's what I get.
Jimmy legs. Is that a thing?
Jimmy legs. That's when you don't know what Jimmy legs are. It's like when you kick your legs are like kicking and flailing. You just can't get still in bed.
I thought it was called restless leg syndrome.
Google
I know it's called Jimmy legs.
Whatever.
Oh,
Shout out to Jimmy. Nice leg. Let's see. This episode is brought to you by Theme Park Chuckle. Make sure you check them out at themeparkchuckle.com to grab you a funny Disney-based shirt or two, such as the ultra classy Let's Get Trashed shirt featuring everyone's favorite World Showcase trash can / dining table if you're at Food and Wine. Check them out at themeparkchuckle.com.
Thank you.
Gotta love that. I love that. I have some Theme Park Chuckle shirts.
Yes, and trash cans are not just for food and wine. There's plenty of festivals you can eat on a trash can. All of them.
I don't believe these lies.
They're
They're all lies. They're lies. And while we're talking about things, let's remind everybody that this program is rated TV 14. So our younger viewers, please have your parents' permission if you're going to listen or watch us on YouTube. And so that's something to think about, guys. We keep it pretty clean here at the Bring Back the Magic podcast because it's Disney-based and we want to talk about fun, magical things.
Yeah.
That's my partner in crime, Gina, over there. My sister, my big sister, looks younger than me, but she is my big sister.
Not according to our viewers, Josh. Not according to
I
our
know. I
viewers.
just wanted to hear you say it. Oh, it made my day. Lori, she's so old.
Josh looks so young. Josh has such a great podcast voice, and Gina's there.
Oh, you are. Don't be so hard on yourself, and please tell me how candy bars used to cost a nickel. Do you have hard candy in your pocket?
We're literally what, 3 years apart?
Yeah. Let's make everyone think it's far more.
Yes.
Gina can give you all if you want like a hard caramel candy from her pocket. Might have lint on it. Who knows? Sure, she has some kind of some ointment somewhere.
I mean, that's not true. I have a lot of issues.
Gina has, but shout out to Gina this episode. Gina has gone through a very intense neck surgery and is able to still do this podcast. She's still in recovery from it. Doesn't have her neck brace on, but is under doctor's recommendation. She could take it off. But we're happy to have you healthy and with us. So this has been great.
Thank you. I've completed 9 of my 12 weeks of recovery and then ideally fully healed at 6 months. But enough about me.
She's trying to get back to Disney shape. You got to get in shape. That's another thing we should always talk about is what shape do you need to be in to go to Disney World? Okay. Now this might be some taboo topics that we're trying to cover on this. Okay. And I don't set out to offend anyone. Doesn't mean it won't happen because I'm filtered enough from a language perspective, but maybe not from a hurt feelings perspective. So disclaimer, Josh may hurt your feelings, but unintentionally, and I love you all. What I will say is when you go to the parks, it's like, you look at like a park, okay? Like the general term of park. Somebody goes there to get some exercise, they walk around, there's nature, there's this kind of stuff. Disney kind of made it into theme parks. It was more of a park atmosphere, like especially with Epcot, because you had like the trees, the wall, walking around World Showcase Lagoon, and you got a lot of exercise in there. I feel like people don't really enjoy the exercise part of this anymore. And more people are calling, shout out to Buena Vista Scooters or whatever that other scooter company is. And I feel like there are people that need these scooters. I will tell you that there are people that need them because they genuinely cannot get around. And, some diseases could be invisible and you have no clue what somebody's going in. True. But there are people that are two types of people. Somebody that just does not want to walk at all and would rather drive in anything. It doesn't matter what you give them. If they have a hover round, they have a skateboard, it doesn't matter. They will let you roll them on a dolly because they do not want to walk around this park. But there's people that, like I said, people that genuinely need it, but people that just will go and kind of abuse that system. And one of them is also drunk people. So I've seen drunk people kind of get scooters, and there's been some scooter casualties almost. I know my father ran over a kid one time.
He did.
So
He
what do you want to say? What did you
I
want to
actually was going to say, it's so funny you say that, because today I was on Facebook through our Bring Back the Magic podcast account. Follow us on all forms of social at BBT Magic Podcast. But there was actually an article, and it's a little clickbait in the way that they phrased it, because they said drunk driver plows down guests at Epcot. And so I was like, oh my God, what happened? But of course, it was somebody.
I'm thinking like a semi going through an entire
that's the way they
crowd.
label. So of course I go into the article before I send it to anybody.
And then it's a hover round.
It was an ECV. It was some drunk girl on an ECV, and she like knocked down a couple. They said the only reason it wasn't worse was because it was during fireworks, so it was kind of crowded, so she couldn't go at a big speed. But that is true. I mean, there are people that do take advantage of the system, and unfortunately, because people do that, it ruins it for the people that need it, and that's what's happening with DAS Pass. I've seen videos. I actually saw a video of someone very obviously in need of DAS Pass. Like, they have a child that is not as like non-able to move on their own in an ECV and was denied DAS Pass. They made a video about that. Like, we were denied DAS Pass.
That is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know,
so
the thing is, there were people that were really abusing the DAS Pass system that were renting out, and this is horrible. Let's just say, from us on the Bring Back the Magic podcast, be kind to everyone.
Please.
You never know what somebody's going through. You never know what somebody's struggles are. Be kind to everyone. The world needs more of it.
Yeah.
We love to see people do good things for people.
Yeah.
But some people would actually rent out their special needs child for side money. And this was a thing. And this was disgusting to me. And it's one thing, I mean, I get needing money. I can't throw stones at somebody. Something like, oh, we did this because, but it's still, this is pretty sleazy to me for you to rent your child out basically to bring it up and say, we can get in lines and all this stuff. And you don't have to wait. And in the DAS Pass, you really have to wait. They just give you time to come back. It's like having a fast pass to begin with.
What's also sick about that is that seems very non-consensual. Like, because if you is your child really saying, yes, I'm okay with this, because they're now burdened to ride whatever these people want to ride. You know what I mean? Like, your kid may not want to get on Ratatouille. And it's like, oh, okay, we're going to go get on Ratatouille, and this person wants to get on it 5 times. And, you know, like, I just think it's gross. It is gross.
It's and that stuff is, you know, it's a little icky. It gives me the ick.
And like you said, desperate times call. You never know somebody's situation. But I just think the overall concept of that is just, it's like the people that want to get clicks. So they post really like disturbing or like embarrassing, humiliating videos of their child on social. And that bothers me when someone's like, oh God, look, my kid pooped his pants. And it's like embarrassing because you're trying to make money off your kid that way. Like, I don't like that either. Like, I think
let's not do that. Let's try to be better, guys.
Yeah, please.
But again, Disney, like, you go around, you're expected to walk all day. It's hot, it's sticky. I get it. But there is like a congestion now from a point of a lot of these, as you put ECVs, because you're all so technical. I just call them hover around. Like, there's a commercial for like the retirement.
Well, both of our parents have needed them to use.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is also, I'll be honest with you, my parents needed, but my parents, and I love both of them, neither of them should be piloting a.
Well, Mom, I only got it one time, and that was it. She's too intimidated by them because she doesn't realize all you have to do is like let go and it stops. She's like expecting a brake pedal, which there's not. And I told her, it's like, just, you can go slow as you want. I'll walk with you. But she also like ran over my foot in line for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
I'm going to paint you a picture. I'm going to paint you a picture as best as I can for this. So people can't tell I'm sitting down. Okay. I'm not in the best shape. I'm not in awful shape, not in the best shape, but I am about 6'2". Let's call it about 240-ish pounds. Right. My dad, bigger guy, 5'10", 5'11". I'd push him in a wheelchair so he wouldn't have to get into one of those ECVs, because I was worried about him taking off. Like, he would go, like he was shot out of a cannon.
Daddy likes to drive driving.
Like, he was literally like, this thing is like, he's cruising like the Pacific Coast Highway, and he's all the way up ahead. And I'm like, where are you going? So now I have full control.
Yeah.
You are mine right now. I can roll you anyway, but it's not easy. And I'll tell you, when you're in Epcot, when you're pushing somebody, my mother, I do the same thing all the time for her because she birthed me into this world. I owe her my life and I love her with all my heart. I
And
will do
I physically
anything
can't
for
do
her.
that. I can't
But
push
let me
anybody because
but let me tell you what I don't. We usually stay around the boardwalk, yacht and beach club area, kind of stuff around that site because we love walking between like Hollywood Studios and Epcot.
yeah,
And I will tell you the parts that bother me when you're pushing somebody. If you rent an actual wheelchair or something, you're pushing them. There's a hill coming out of the
okay.
International Gateway, and there's one right as you go up the International Gateway when you're in the parks, and you kind of go over into France and then down from France. These hills, if you're pushing somebody, if you're going the uphill part of it, not the most fun when it's sweltering heat. And my one thing from my mother, and I know I'm running on with this, I remember Gina and her son were going over to get on Guardians of the Galaxy. I was going to go over, take some pictures over there, get some stuff. I love taking some pictures in the park and everything. I had my camera bag with me. I'm going to do this. My mom decides she'd like to go, which I stupidly thought she was going over to get on Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm like, okay, we'll go over and do this. It is, I would say it's 2,000 degrees if it was a degree. It's probably, I might be exaggerating, probably not. It was Florida, it was hot. So
Yeah,
I'm pushing her through the International Gateway, get up the hill and everything. When I tell you my shirt is already saturated, I look like
yeah,
I could be wrung out at any second. I take my hat off, and because I'm bald, your head just steams inside your hat. And it just causes pool of just sweat. When you take it, it's like a fountain went off and it was like down my face. So we roll all the way from International Gateway, and those of you who've been in the parks know you go through the UK, you go through Canada, you go past, like when you get in like the little entrance into World Showcase, and you go down the main strip towards the Spaceship Earth, and you go to the right and you go to Guardians of the Galaxy. So I push her all the way over there, and then find out she's not even getting on this ride. She's just there because she just wanted to come over near it, and I'm like, my
yeah,
face was one of, I love you, but I might have to roll you down this hill unassisted and just see what happens. You're in
yeah,
God's hand. Let Jesus take the wheel because I can't push you anymore. So that kind of stuff, but I'll do whatever I can. But it's hard when you're pushing them. But it gives you, my main point is, it gives you ultimate control of the person that you're going through when you're going, and you get to talk to them. And it's not that person when you're trying to walk next to them in the park and they're just, you don't know their varying speeds, and they're kind of like you're holding them up. Like, I'm like, oh, sorry, this is inconvenient. Well, I'm trying to not have happen what you had happen, your foot to get run over.
yeah,
And my dad also ran over a kid. The short story,
yeah,
he ran over a kid and continued to run him over as the grandpa. It's not funny, but it is. As the grandfather's trying to yank this kid under the wheel, my dad
yeah,
had both his granddaughters on his lap, and he's like, oh, sorry, that's why they don't let you do that, sir. They're like, this guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. He's still right. Like, stop running him over. Just stop. Walk away. Walk away. But anyway, that's that. Okay, so there's my ECV story for the day.
While
Sorry.
we're sharing our sizes, for those of you who are wondering, I am 6'2" and 110 pounds.
I just
While
want
we're
to give a
telling
visual.
no, just kidding.
I want
No,
to give a visual.
I love our parents very, very much, and for
Mhm.
different reasons, they both need, that assistance. But I said, "Mommy tried it once, and she just she's too intimidated. She's too nervous. Daddy is a little too confident on it because he does drive it at a driving speed, not at a walking speed." I'm like, "No, like go like we're walking. You are like driving." But I don't want to pick on
Well,
them.
he would
Love
come
them.
back. He would come back too. He'd loop back around. I was like, why
Yeah,
are you in your
yeah,
own little race? Like you're coming to like it's like Bowser or something
yeah.
from like
I
like
had to be in an
Nintendo.
ECV one time. I did a Disney race and I hurt myself, and so I had to be in an ECV. And the
That was a
thing
half
is
marathon, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah, and
Shout out to Gina for doing a half marathon. That's a big
I
accomplishment. I can't.
completed one. I
I was
attempted
died a
2 of them.
5K. I
I
did the
attempted
Castaway Key 5K
yes,
and almost died.
yeah, but,
And Danielle, my sister, did it and cheated.
and cheated.
She's like, "Look, you're supposed to go around this thing like
Yeah,
twice or
she
whatever."
didn't
She's
do
like,
the full
no,
course.
once is good for me. And then
Yeah,
sit back. Where's
yeah,
everybody? Well, they're still doing the race that you cheated
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Here's your rubber medal.
Anyway, we should probably get into our hot takes because
Yeah.
we are
Okay.
already.
Let's get into our hot takes.
Yeah. So this is a new
a little
segment. This is something new we're going to try and introduce regularly. We have a lot of opinions that people may or may not agree with. It may be a kind of controversial. It may be, again, a hot take. So, Josh, what's your hot take this week?
Let's see. My hot take. What should it be? I don't know what my hot take is this
Should we
week.
go first?
No, I got it. Okay. So we were talking about. We were talking before about influencers and everything else in the parks and what you do to like keep the Disney magic going at home. And we watch these videos. We love it. I love nothing more than to watch people in the park live. And they're like, oh, I can see this and what's going on. I can see some things, right? My hot take is the fact, the one thing I cannot stand and it bothers me is people live streaming from a ride. And it's not every time they live stream from a ride. If you want to live stream and do something and you're quiet, it's fine by me because I love seeing the rides. I love what you do. Thank you. Keep doing it. But when you're the person that's on TikTok or something like, hey, Alien Goblin 42. Thanks for the follow. Hit you back later. Yeah, we're just here with this about, and they're talking like they're on a game show. And I'm like, listen, sorry, Alien Gobbler or whatever your name was, but I'm like, there's people that are on there for the first time. That drives me up a wall.
Yeah, it really grinds my gears.
It really grinds my gears. But it's, but I can't stand it. And it's funny because I'm so like, it's so weird and hypocritical because I love when people live stream from the parks. And I'm like, oh, here's what's his face, or here's this. I'm like, oh, walk around this corner. I got to see what's for sale in this shop of things I don't need, but it's because it's Disney. I'm going to buy it anyway. And then eventually it's going to be in a yard sale and I'm going to get like $2 for it. But I love it for the 10 minutes I had it.
Yeah.
So I don't mind people doing that. And I know it's more of a hot take because some people are like, well, let them do what they do. And that's a Disney I'm like, you can choose to ignore them. I'm like, first of all, when you're on a ride, there's ones that are very, very quiet for most of the ride. Okay. If you're on, let's say like the little track going up in like Space Mountain, or not Space Mountain. I'm sorry. That's a bad one to do that on Spaceship Earth rather. And you're going through and you can just hear people talking on that one anyway. I don't care if you live stream and talk your butt off on Wedway, like on the People Mover. Okay, you can do that because nobody hears anything. Everybody's talking about stuff. You're in different places. That one might be okay, but there's other rides. If you're like on the boat ride in Mexico and you're sitting in there, and you're like, oh yeah, here's this. Like, no, it's not a long ride. You could just go film it, let people watch it, and be done. Okay, nobody wants to hear you shouting out everybody and telling people, oh, thanks for the galaxy, and here's this, and oh, I got a gift from this person. Just stop. Be quiet. Put your mouth on this. Okay. That's my hot take. I don't know what your hot take is. I hope I don't offend anyone. Again, Josh doesn't set out to offend. Doesn't mean it may not happen. Okay.
Before I give my hot take, which is also ride related, I'm going to add to your hot take because it's not worth doing my own about
my
it.
own hot take. Okay.
Yeah. Is that I also don't like when people show me them chewing the food that they're telling us about on there. I believe you ate it. Like if you can say, oh, I got this, and then show it after. I don't need to see you biting. I don't need to see you chewing, God forbid, talking with your mouth full. I can't stand it. I like the people that go, I'm going to try it, clip, and then they go, okay, I believe you ate it. You do not need to prove to me that you chewed. But anyway, my hot take is also ride related. Okay. It is, I feel like I'm on a little island when it comes to this. I do not like being on a ride when the lights come on. I've seen so many videos lately where someone's like, oh my God, it was so awesome. We were on this. And I think it was one. Oh God, what ride was it? I'm trying to think what it was, but it was like a ride where it was Haunted Mansion and they had to evacuate it. All the lights came on and the video was them in the Madame Leota room and everything. And I was like,
oh, that's got to be horrible.
I would burst into tears because I don't want to see again. This is all about magic. I don't want to see behind the scenes. I don't want to see it. So people talking about they love jumping on, the Wedway or People Mover when Space Mountain's lights are on. I don't like it.
Hold on. All I envision is like somebody's like, he's like, when hinges creak and doors chain. Hey, who turned on the light?
But I don't like it. I don't want to be evacuated off any ride. I do not want to be on a ride where the lights come on and ruin the magic. I don't like it. And I always
what's terrifying is if you're on like Space Mountain I
Mhm.
got the right one this time, by the way. It was Space Mountain I was
Yeah.
talking about. That's terrifying with the lights on because the track feels like it's just gonna decapitate you.
Yes. Yes, and that's the video I see most frequently on social is people going, "Oh, when you hear Space Mountain's down, jump on the webway." Now, I've been on the People Mover when you go through Space Mountain and see it, and I do think it's terrifying. I'm like, "I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it." So that is probably a hot take 'cause I know a lot of people love even our niece Quinn loves watching the videos, that TPM Vids does that's like ride breakdowns and stuff and the
Mhm.
evacuations. I don't wanna be in that situation. I don't wanna be I remember one time we were on the aerial ride, and there were people because that ride broke down all the time when it first came out. And we were on I was thinking I was sitting with you and Mozzie might have been little. And there were like cast members with flashlights, like walking behind our Omni mover while we were sitting. And I was like, "Ooh." It's like when you sit too close in the old aerial show and you can see the like puppet people in their
Mhm.
outfits. It's like, I don't like anything that ruins the magic. So that's my hot take. I don't like it.
Yeah, well, it's like on Spaceship Earth when it broke down. It said the same thing, but like the flashlights and everything else. When we thought we were going to be evacuated, I'm like, oh, where are we going? And we're like at the tippy top. We were in the scene with the Earth.
Yeah.
Like you're on there and it's
We
projection
weren't
Earth.
even on Earth anymore.
I'm like, I'm not even on the planet, and I'm gonna have to take the stairs.
I don't like it. I don't
Why?
like it. Mm-mm,
Why?
I don't
God,
like it.
why? But no, it's
Mm.
but things like that. You're always tripping out. Like this has to have happened at some point. Like there's got to be evacuations. There's all kinds of stuff, and thank goodness nothing really, really catastrophic happens that
Mhm.
you have to get out of there like in a hurry. Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, people are people, and they're not well
Mhm.
behaved. It's like the Great White Concert. I mean, like you're trampling this. Save yourself. There is no consideration for your fellow man. That's what I said. Any kindness you can show to people is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Keep doing, but you don't have to film it for social media. Just so you know,
Yeah.
you can do a good deed and not have to post about it on social
Mhm.
media. I
Yeah.
love hearing about it. I don't necessarily have to see the whole thing where you give this person money or food or this kind of stuff and then make the internet go crazy about it. Just do it. Just do it. Just and do it because it's good to do.
Yeah.
I digress. PSA sponsored by our title sponsor, themeparkchuckle.com. But all right, so this next topic, okay, is one I know we're a Disney podcast, but Epic Universe from Universal is opening up. We have seen a flood of content from creators, influencers, and people that were lucky enough to be invited. All this content, be honest with you, it doesn't seem like this is a far-reaching amount of people. Like their reach is vast, but like the amount of people I think invited to different preview days and all this kind of stuff, it seems like it's pretty wide open because they don't want it to be like a big herd of people and like they can get good content and all.
Yeah.
But a lot of my favorite like creators and all are in there and they're showing off stuff and it looks really neat because they're like basically no waits for rides. They're going through this stuff. Epic is a pretty good use of the word for
Agree.
this park because everything is so like you've been just zapped into these portals and all the different dimensions, like the dark one, and then you have the Super Nintendo kind of stuff, Harry Potter, all this stuff they've done extraordinarily well. And I feel like when we were talking about before, it's like, are you gonna have the same feeling you do in Disney? Like Disney gives off that magic vibe. Like you come
Mhm.
here, it's like, I feel magical. Or are you just gonna feel like I went and I did it and then I'm done? Okay. Like, how do you think the magic or it's gonna have that magic kind of feeling, Gina?
Well, first, and you and I were talking about this earlier today and why we decided to do a podcast about it, is that Universal was a movie making company, right? So it stands to reason that's why their parks literally look like movie sets. I mean, when I was looking at the content online, and obviously I'm Disney over everything, I'm a little bit biased, but I can see what's what. And I
Mhm.
was like kind of audibly gasping at like, wow, that is epic. Like you said, it's a great word for
The
it.
queue
And
lines,
really
everything. It's
immersive and a wow factor, a wow factor. And I thought to myself, when was the last time I audibly gasped at something Disney put out? And the things that came to mind were in Disneyland, the Indiana Jones ride, which obviously is coming to Disney World, but that felt really like you were in the movie. It was like, wow, this feels really immersive. You mentioned something little like the Tales from Belle, that little illusion trick, which we
yeah,
won't
like
ruin for anyone who hasn't
yeah,
seen
who
that.
hasn't gotten on that and you see like it opens up like the
Yeah.
mirror and all. I was like, oh my
And
goodness.
and
I
you
was
mentioned Pandora.
floored.
Pandora gives a
Yeah.
very like immersive. Now, as Star Wars fans, I don't know because I'm not a Star Wars junkie. I enjoy the movies, but I'm not like that fandom. Like what you said when you went to the preview of Batu, it was really cool because it was more about the experience they were offering too. It looked really cool. People seeing the Millennium Falcon and all that,
It's
but it was really,
structural. It doesn't give you that, and I'm not downing it. It's still
yeah,
awesome. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong. But seeing a big Millennium Falcon there, I mean, come on
yeah,
now. Who doesn't like that? But
yeah.
it's like, it's, it doesn't give you the, oh, wow, I'm in this place. Like, it's not giving that vibe as much as what I feel the stuff they're trying to do with Epic
And
Universe.
I kind of think of, again, I'm sure they will have tons of repeat people. For me, I, again, don't know that I would ever see myself being like, I want to go to Universal over Disney because, again, what this entire podcast centers around is the magic. And again, going back to socials, when I see people really saying, this is the Disney magic, it's never about something high tech or thrill. That's not what people are coming for. Yeah, it's great when you can get it. You want that feeling that when you walk in, and I said Disney at its best, especially Disney World, makes you feel like the outside world does not exist and that
Mhm.
you are in a place where one, you feel like a child again, but two, anything's possible. Dreams can come true. All of that. That's what you get from Disney. So that's
Yeah.
why the TikTok I posted of like Chip walking with my son through the boardwalk lobby, like that is a moment that wasn't even a ride. It wasn't anything I paid for. It was like we came down to the lobby to leave.
Moment.
Chip and Dale and Daisy were just magically in the boardwalk lobby and nobody was around. Chip takes my son by the hand and grabs his
So
suitcase
cool.
and walks, and literally tears. I'm thinking, this is the magic. I could relive it over
You
and
were
over and
crying
over
because
again.
you wished it was you walking with Chip because you love Chip.
I see
Gina,
no lies here.
yeah, Gina loved Chip. What's funny because I was
Do.
like almost
Hear
40
me
when I
out.
realized there was something past Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like literally in my mind, this
Mhm.
is how great Disney is. In my mind, the world stopped at Magic Kingdom. Like literally the entire world, not just
Mhm.
Florida, not just the part.
Yeah.
It's like the entire world stops at Magic Kingdom. Like I'm like, there's nothing behind there. Then I drove around. I'm like, oh, there's a Publix and there's this and there's a
Yeah.
really shady Walmart like around like the corner.
There's a
I'm
Target
like,
that opened not too far from there that has like a
and I'm
whole
like,
big Disney section.
I'm like, what? But that's what makes I'm like, it's that feeling. You're like, there's something more. I'm like, I just see the little thing, don't cross here, like where I'm by like the Contemporary and I'm
Mhm.
walking across the street. I'm like, oh, I can't go down there. That's the cast
Yeah.
member thing. I'm like, and the other road, I'm
I'll
like,
fall
and the
off
other
the
road,
earth.
you're like, there's nothing over here, but the road down to Grand Floridian. I'm like, there's
Yeah.
nothing to see here,
Yeah.
guys. But that's what we're talking about. And what's funny, also thinking about like Epic Universe, so will they have like I guess because they have it in regular Universal, you have costume characters and things like
Mhm.
that. Like, what about Super Mario World? Is there going to be like a little Super Mario? Like, is Mario going to be like, it's a me? Give your favorite plumber a hug. It's a me.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it might be a giant, like off, like the way that Emil and Remy are like giant. They're not like scale size, or Figment is like that. Maybe it's
Well,
somebody
that's
in
what
the
I'm saying.
full Marvel.
Figment, it's weird because you're like, here's Figment. You look so much smaller on your ride, and
Yeah.
now you're like way taller than me. You could at least be a smaller person, kind of
Yeah.
like what they. Do you remember when they did in? I want to say, where was it? Was it in like the One Man's Dream or something? It was in the back of one of these things where they had a temporary setup for like Guardians, and it was a baby Groot, and it was like
Oh yeah, I think they did that. It was over there. I think somewhere in
I
that
want to say it was
vicinity.
like when you're on the way to Toy Story now, it was like the
Mhm.
Walt
Yeah.
little, like the story there, and you can go
Well,
through the Walt
Figment
Disney
used to be
Story.
that. Dreamfinder used to walk around with like a Figment that
Yeah,
was
that's cool. That's
normal
what I feel
size.
like. And now you've got the Mandalorian in Disney, where you've got Grogu in the pouch and you've got Mando walking around, and you're
Mhm.
like, okay, that's really neat. That is
Yeah.
where they're going in the right direction because you have somebody who's that's bringing you into the show.
Yeah.
That's bringing you, and you have other people like they have some really good Rays that are in there that
Mhm.
look just like her. Um,
Mhm.
actually better because even though it was a Daisy Ridley, sometimes she irritates me, sometimes she doesn't. I don't know. It's like the flavor of the week. I don't know. But she'll go around that kind of stuff. And you have like the stormtroopers and you got, uh Kylo Ren, whatever else through it. But again, with Epic Universe, you're like, okay, you got Super Nintendo, How to Train Your Dragon. You see like the dragon stuff and everything. Like, oh, here's the dragon here coming in and interact. These things are like blow your mind, kind of like neat advancements in technology. Look at
Yeah.
what we do today with like AI stuff. You can make everything, videos, production work, all this stuff. Ask it anything. It can handle your diet and everything. Why not with this physical things, like they've got to be amplified even more. So you see
Mhm.
these theme parks that are really starting to just go like, where's the next step in this
Yeah.
evolution? The only thing Universal doesn't have to Disney is that amount of real estate because they
Yeah.
can't get any more. And Epic Universe is large. I want to say Epic Universe is like that piece of property is verging on like an Animal Kingdom kind of size piece of land.
Yeah.
That's like 500 acres or whatever is like Animal Kingdom.
Mhm. I mean, it's
But
grand. Everything you see, the size is massive, and I do think that
I
that
like the
rivals
fact they
Disney.
did the portals and the portals
Yeah.
into different places. And I'm like, I'll
Mhm.
tell you one thing, Harry Potter in both parks, when you go into Islands of Adventure and just regular Universal Studios and you have the train and everything, Harry Potter is awesome. Like I said, I
Mhm.
can drink my weight in butter beer and just end up in a diabetic coma.
Mhm.
But it's so cool. And now they've got like the Ministry of Magic and all. And they said when you're going through there and you like the flu magic or something you go through, they're like, that looks incredible.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's weird because we're Disney people.
Mhm.
We're just like, Disney needs to react to this. They need
Yeah.
to see something. I'm hoping, praying, God, please, with Monsters Inc., with
Villains
the
Land,
Beyond Thunder
Thunder
Mountain,
Mountain.
when they
Mhm.
do like the Villains Land and everything,
Mhm.
they need to bring this. The Villains Land, especially, they could really turn up the juice and
Yeah.
say, look, you have your dark universe stuff. You could do so many things with properties. And I know that Disney is a family company, but they do things that are not so family too. They own a ton of other things. And you can't
I
really,
mean,
that
now that they've
battle was
got
lost a long time ago. You can't
yeah,
just
they've
say
got
we've done this
Hulu.
for everybody. There's things you can make scary and more
Mhm.
like themed in a darker kind of way, but not be totally frightening. Like, look at back
Off-putting.
in old school Fantasyland, you had Snow White, where nobody realized you were
Mhm.
supposed to be Snow White in the ride. That was it
Mhm.
about. It wasn't like, where's Snow White? Oh my God, it's terrifying. Like, yeah, this is a day in the life of Snow White. She didn't have it all. Okay, guys. She
Right.
was going to get a little nervous about things. The witch is after
Mhm.
her. She's making out with some dude she just met. Whatever else. Okay, that's the story of Snow White in a nutshell. Okay, you're welcome. There's Cliff Notes version. But if you look at that stuff, they can really kind of turn up the juice now and turn it to 11 and say, look, we're going to make things with properties we own and we can actually make it like with like castles and things like that beyond like Thunder Mountain. We can do things with more of the villains kind of things where like whether it's Hades involved in that kind of stuff or like we were saying about the pull the lever for Emperor's New Groove, like where you go down and things like the roller coaster.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a must. It's a must. And Disney has to get into some of the more coaster related stuff, but it doesn't have to be upside down stuff. Doesn't have to be suspension coaster things. It could be things that people still love. People still love getting on Thunder Mountain. Thing doesn't go upside down. It's vaguely qualifies as a roller coaster. I mean, it's not
I think it's still
ultra
thrilling.
intense, but it's still a crowd pleaser, and I love it. I'm not
I
talking
love it.
trash here. I'm not talking poo. I am
Yeah.
talking like facts here. That's still a great ride, but again, you don't have to do something that X's everybody out from riding it. And I feel like that's what Universal does in a lot
Yeah.
of their simulators. They're like Gina, neck problems, me, back problems, dizziness, motion sickness, all these
Mhm.
things that can really mess with you. I feel like that's the separation between Disney and Universal. Now, I'm sure you have something to add to that.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is I have a fear and a faith when it comes to Disney. Like I have a faith that it absolutely can come back to its best, but I have a fear of when they're gonna do it and realize it. Like I can't get in the mindset of the people that are in the power right now. I feel like when Disney Plus came along, especially under Bob Chapek, that it became like that was such a focus. It's like, oh, let's create content for that and da 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 da, and let's get this and let's throw all these things in Disney Plus. And
Mhm.
okay, but like the people that are spending way more money to actually come to the parks, and we can spend an endless amount of money because you don't know what we're going to spend money on, food, merch, whatever. We're already having to buy the tickets. We're all paying to stay at the hotels, all of that. That the thing that we're looking for isn't a new concept. It's we want you to go back to what worked before, which is that feeling of magic. And again, it's the word we will use at nauseum, but because that is the definition of Disney, that's what sets them apart. Universal, it used to be okay, thrill, and there were IPs, But now they've gotten really good at storytelling, because when you go in Harry Potter, they're telling you a story. They're making things that make you feel like you are literally in it. And I asked myself when I was thinking on this topic, okay, what part of Disney World made me feel like I was really there, that they were trying to convey to me that I was really there? And I will tell you, the first thing that comes to my mind was MGM. When I would go into MGM, I was like, I am in old Hollywood. I am on a working
That
set.
feels less
This
and
is
less like that now. Yeah.
exactly. That's why I say when it was MGM. It's not that anymore. Now I
Mhm.
walk in and I'm like, this is Hollywood Studios. It's an amusement park. There's sections that are themed. Okay, this is Toy Story. Okay, this is, but it's not giving me a feeling that I am somewhere. And the other thing being, I think, Epcot, Epcot, where World Showcase, you were like, oh, I'm getting this vibe, like I'm in a little French place and I'm in a little section of Italy, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting that vibe. And even Future World, which we talked about on previous podcasts, it made you feel like, wow, this is like some really futuristic. I feel like I've stepped into the future and this is really wild. Animal Kingdom, I do think, does a great job at theming, because it
Oh,
does give you
nothing will ever
full,
touch the safari because it feels like
yeah,
you're not even in
yeah,
Florida. Like you're just like
right.
this is this is
100%.
this
No,
is ridiculous. Yeah.
absolutely.
I
And
saw that.
so,
That was the biggest gasp I think I've ever had
yeah.
in a Disney reveal when they
Mhm.
went around the corner and you see like their like their wildlife reserve and you're like, wow, this
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
And so I feel like Disney knows how to do it. It's maybe they're not even going to do it to the scale and like grandiose, large proportions that Universal is doing. Again, movie set quality, and Disney's a movie company too. There's no reason they can't do it.
Mhm.
But I'm not as interested in that as I am of when I see a video of it was an old commercial of the Year of a Million Dreams. And it was like you felt something when you watched that commercial. And now I'm trying to think of Disney commercials that are coming on right now. And I'm like, are they just relying on content creators to be their main marketing, which is smart because, hey, these people are the reason people are coming to see it. Instagrammable things, everybody's taking their photos. Content creators work really hard, I will say. Like,
Oh, it's
they
tough.
deserve respect for going to here. They're finding new things. They're all even those room in the Disney space, they're all trying to get it out first so they can get the views. And God knows
And
algorithms,
you can't afford to not be at the
right?
switch. They're like, and
Mhm.
you got it's go, go, go. These guys really hustle. And they're like, oh, you
And
just put
most
up
of
a
them are
video. And like, there's
working
a lot that goes into that. Yeah.
Most of them are working every day of the week, and I am so grateful to them. But,
Shout out to you guys. We love you.
yeah, and I'm glad that Disney started recognizing them and being like, "Okay, creator days, inviting them to things, awesome." But I feel like Disney needs to stop worrying just about people knowing what they're doing, and when people get there, being so glad they're there and wanting to come back, because we said, again, on a previous podcast, that people will spend the money if you deliver on what they want. And it's like a Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. In that line where James Earl Jones says, like, people, you say, how much is it? You say, it's only $30 or $20 a ticket. And they'll hand over the money without even thinking, because it's like this feeling that they want.
I
And
love that.
that
It's a
was
great
the
line.
Disney model. It was like, okay, people aren't going to worry about what they're paying, even though these are hardworking people in tough times. And they're still saying, I want to give my kid this experience. And if you walk in and you don't get that feeling, that's where I'd feel disappointed. When you and I have talked about before, something that makes us feel like the magic isn't there, or
Mhm.
something that feels a little too like just vanilla, like, and phoned in. And my fear with Disney, and last thing I'll say before I let you talk, you know how it is, brothers and sisters, is that Disney has done a lot lately. Because Imagineering is amazing. Whenever you watch like videos about it and the Imagineering story on Disney Plus, they are very clever and capable people. But Disney has given us drawings and given us, ideas of what they're going to do. And then when it comes, is not that. Like, what happened to the play pavilion in Epcot? Remember, it was like, oh, World of Wonders of Life is going to be this whole play pavilion. Interact. Bye bye. Just gone. Oh, it's going
Well,
to
it
be
was the
spectator on the.
overpromise, underdeliver stuff that really happened for a
Yeah.
while there. And I feel like again, there's cutbacks and stuff. There's obviously the Walt Disney Company as a company, and they have to show stuff. They have to go through. They have to make cuts where cuts are necessary. It's a very large employment that they hold, to a
Yeah.
lot of people. Um, but they have every ability to do it. I want Disney. Not that you're listening, because how knows who knows if you landed on the Bring Back the Magic podcast, but if you did, welcome. Uh, if you're listening, we know and we have faith in you. We love
Mhm.
the company. we love the culture, we love the mission, and you have the ability to compete and to outdo what Universal has just done. And it's
Mhm.
only a matter of time, you know, for them to get there, but they have to start and they have to get those wheels moving, because right now these guys are going to take a lot of revenue from you, because now that Universal has 3 parks, it has a water park, if you want to call it, with Volcano Bay, which is like, if you want to hang out next to the freeway and go get in water, it's fine. But and it's, again, it's Universal size. They have some little themey hotels and things, and some things are pretty cool. I'm like, I'm not down on Universal. They have a good thing going over there. But that can take revenue away from Disney. Orlando's a hot spot for tourism. And again, you only have so much, so many people can come into the parks because there's capacities. Okay.
Mhm.
But you need to think about the fact of what's going to leak out of who's spending money. So these families now, they might split their time or just opt to not go to your spot altogether,
Mhm.
because of the fact you're going to look at 2 different things: what appeals to your child, and what's the price that's tacked onto it. Now, if they can beat you in, like the aesthetics part of things and the feeling that you get in there, there's one. And they can beat you on the bottom line and the price and get you a little more affordable. That's another thing. So you really have to look out, because people are opting to do other things. When you were talking about social media and people saying, like, all these people, the influencers, listen to them, well, they have to, because that's how everything gets to the masses now. These kids are not watching television to go and say, I want to go do this. Oh, look, this commercial came on. When's the last time a kid said this commercial? It probably
Mhm.
hasn't happened.
It's
They're
an
like,
ad on
"Bro."
YouTube. It's an ad on
Yeah, it's
YouTube
an
these
ad
days.
on
Yeah.
YouTube. It's something. YouTube is the new TV.
Mhm.
TikTok is a new news source for everything. And it's not coming from here's your anchor here with this just in with a news segment. It is, hey, I'm Joe, what's his name? And I'm just walking around outside. I saw something happen. Let me tell you what I saw. And they're
Yeah.
like, source, I know a guy. And that's what people are getting all their news from.
Yeah.
So these people are kind of being influenced in that way, because that's the social media influencer's job. And that's where they're pushing people towards it. Now, this flood of all this stuff to these kids, epic universe, epic universe, epic universe, that's going to keep happening.
I've
Okay.
seen it with my son. My son never mentioned it until he saw the commercial for Epic Universe and he saw the Mario area, and he saw on social today a clip of Toothless, and people going up and meeting
Well,
him
the
and all that.
properties now speak to kids. That's the thing. The
Mhm.
Harry Potters, the How to Train Your Dragons,
Right.
the Dark Universe stuff, the Super
Mhm.
Nintendo. That's what kids right now. So they're capitalizing on that young demographic, and they got to get back the young people
Mhm.
for Disney. I mean, Magic Kingdom, nothing will ever really compete on a young person's level like Magic Kingdom
Mhm.
is. It's
Right.
absolutely wonderful. My wife's favorite park. But that's it. I feel like that's so. Like, the roundabout question we asked is that, will they be able to compete with the Magic? In my heart of hearts, I don't think it's a magic feeling, because there's so much from a Disney culture that's built over a long time for the magic part of things. So people are planning out their trip to do this, to do that. There's the festivals, all this other stuff they're going. Now, some people feel that way about Halloween Horror Nights. They're so about it. I mean, it's a culture within a culture.
Mhm.
And I feel like now, we'll wait and see is kind of my answer. Let's see what they do.
Mhm.
I'm not rooting against them, but I'm
Mhm.
rooting for Disney to match that quality, because they really did do a great job. And hats off to Universal, because I really think that they've broken into something incredible here. But that's
Mhm.
what I'll say about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not rooting against anybody. If I could say, and maybe we'll start a new segment called Dear Disney or say something, but like, Dear Disney, we are rooting for you harder than anybody. And please,
Yeah.
I don't mind paying money, but please stop pricing us out because other people aren't coming.
Yeah.
You're penalizing the people that still are. Sometimes it feels like Major League, where it's like, are you guys trying to make this fail
Yeah.
so you can sell it to somebody else? I don't know. But on that note, yes, wrapping up that topic for the week, I would say that it's the emotional connection that makes Disney so special. And if they can keep that going and elevate it, everything else will be fine. And people can go and say, okay, I'm going to Disney for a week and I'm going to go do a day at Epic Universe, but you don't want to lose it. And when people go, I'm going to go down and do 3 days at Universal and maybe I'll do 1 day at Disney, that's
Yeah.
what they need to just be aware of.
Oh, see, well that solves it now. Also, we want to give let's give some shout outs here. Shout out. I love this graphic because if you're watching this, this is the Mike Wazowski angle for Gina. I'm
on the internet.
But shout out this week. We're gonna shout out Peyton, Kinsley, Quinn, and Massimo. Shout outs to you guys. Hope you're having a wonderful week and enjoy yourselves. And that's your shout out for the week. Also, we want to thank our sponsor, Theme Park Chuckle. Go to themeparkchuckle.com for your humor-based Disney teas, and make sure you give them a follow there on their social medias too. And yeah, so that's kind of wrapping up this episode. It's been fun. It's always great talking Disney. It's weird talking Universal kind of thing, but it's, you know what? I really feel good about where our show has progressed to, and getting to talk to my sister on the internet is even better than talking to her in person.
Yeah.
And you could take that any which way you want.
Not sure.
So weird. So weird. Such a dynamic that she is just so old. I love you to death. That face said it all. Oh, daggers. The daggers.
I'm watching. Always watching.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. Gina?
I would ask all of you kindly to please follow us on all our social media pages so you can keep up to date with what we're doing, but also so we can hear from you, because we can't stress enough how much we love to hear from you. We are at BBT Magic Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. Bring Back the Magic Podcast on Facebook, and find us on YouTube, where you can watch all of our episodes until we expand into solely audio as well.
Oh, nice. Well, please watch your head and step as you exit the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.